Lechuga. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious sugar-free low-carb chocolate cheesecake. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off with our crust, and for this I found these protein wafer crisp, and it's by Atkins, and I will post the link below in case you can't find them at your local grocery store. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind these up along with some almond flour and a little bit of butter and some cocoa powder to get a nice crust for our cheesecake. So I'm going to go ahead and unwrap every one of these, and I'm going to put them in my blender. So I've added 6 of these bars, of these chocolate mint bars. So we have 6 mint bars in our blender, and I'm going to go ahead and add about 1/2 cup of almond flour. And I'm going to go ahead and pause, and I'm going to melt 1 stick of butter, because we're going to use that to bind it together. I'm melting the stick of butter. We want to make sure we don't overdo it because we don't want like a mushy puree. So this looks about right. You can see the crumb texture. Like I said, you don't want to overdo it. You want it to be like kind of crumbly. So we can add our butter now. So I have my springform pan, and this is an 8-inch springform pan. And I've cut a piece of parchment paper. You could also use wax paper. I just find that parchment paper is a little better at not sticking. I'm going to take my nonstick spray and go ahead and spray the bottom of this. And that's actually going to kind of adhere this, you know, not to worry, like you can't peel it off, but just so that it kind of stays put for what we have to do. Then I'm going to put it into our springform pan. I'm going to go ahead and shut that, close it tight. I'm going to go ahead and give it one more spray. I'm going to get the sides as well. So I poured my cookie mixture into a glass bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and pour about half of my butter. So I'm going to pour my butter. You want to make sure you give it a good little mix first because it kind of separates. So pour about half in. I want to go ahead and stir that around. And I actually think we're good to go with half. We have it nice texture. See, I would guess, I think we can call that like a peanut butter texture. We're going to add this to our springform pan. Doesn't look very good, but trust me, it tastes good. So I would say this is definitely a low-carb dessert, but it's definitely not a low-calorie dessert by any means. You know, cream cheese is very high in fat and calories. I'm going to grab a fork really quick. So I'm just going to use a fork to kind of spread this out. As I was saying, cream cheese is very high in fat and calories, so Don't think of this as like a healthy dessert. It's actually, you know, let's say if you're doing keto or the Atkins diet or some type of diet that requires you to be low carb, this would be a great dessert that you can have on one of those types of diets. Just spread this around. There we go. Oops. So I have here 6 blocks of cream cheese softened, and they are 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. And I'm going to add them into my mixer. I'm going to go ahead and cream them up a little bit, and then I will add my sugar. And I have my paddle attachment. Blend them together, and that was literally like what, 20 seconds, if that. So now I'm going to add my sugar. So I have here this sugar replacement. It's Splenda, and it measures cup for cup like sugar. So I'm going to measure 1.5 cups, and I'm going to add it to my mixture. Probably don't want to breathe that in. About 1.5 cups. So I'm going to turn this on medium low. So I'm going to let this mix about a minute. And just turn up the speed a little. So I'm going to go ahead and add this vanilla bean paste. I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of this. And this is, even though it's a chocolate cake, it's going to give it a delicious flavor. When using vanilla bean paste, you're just going to measure the same amount you would if you just use regular vanilla extract. Looks like it's time to order some more of that, so I'm going to go ahead and measure 1/2 teaspoon of regular vanilla. So sometimes you just got to improvise. So if you look at this beautiful texture, the vanilla bean paste in there, and that gives it a really wonderful taste. Another thing is this paddle attachment that you see. It didn't come with my KitchenAid mixer. I actually purchased it on Amazon, and I'll put a link below for that. This thing is fabulous. Like, you don't have to do much scraping down with this attachment, so it works really great for like every dessert. So I have my Hershey's cocoa, and this is unsweetened cocoa, and we use it for baking. And I'm going to use 3 tablespoons, and I'm going to add that into my mixer. You want to start it off on a low speed, that way it's not flying up everywhere. Then you can go ahead and gradually turn it up a little. That's until it incorporates. So I'm adding 3 tablespoons of this Hershey sugar-free chocolate flavor. And that's just going to really bring out that chocolate taste. Lastly, we're going to add 6 eggs. So we don't need to overbeat this. We just want to make sure that the eggs are incorporated. And we are just about finished. I'm going to add one last touch to kind of just give it some more texture and interest. I found these Atkins Endulge bars, and they are nutty fudge brownie flavor. And I'm going to break up some pieces of this and add them to my mix, just to give it another, just to give it a little bit of interest. So I'm just going to put little pieces about that big. Just going to break it up. I'm going to go ahead and put a total of 3 of these bars in there. I think that'll give it enough. I'm actually making this cake for my mother's birthday, and she has been basically living the Atkins lifestyle. I wouldn't say she's on the Atkins diet. Like, she will not eat carbs, and she looks great. She looks fabulous, and I think it's been a really good choice for her. So I just wanted to make this extra special, and it's really nice for your family or your friends, you know, if they don't eat cake, like regular cake that's has all the flour and the carbs in it. And I have tasted these. These are actually really good. Like, they taste like regular brownies, so I think she's gonna love this. So this is what it looks like. Doesn't that look yummy? We just want to make sure it's in there, not have to, you don't have to like beat it a lot. Ready to go into the pan. So I'm going to pour this into my springform pan. Again, this is an 8-inch pan. Make sure you get all that delicious brownie in there. And as you can see, like, I didn't put all of it in there, so you might be able to actually get this into a 10-inch springform pan. So I'm just going to have some extras. And then just smooth that out. So I have this filled. I left about a 1-inch distance from the top of the batter to the top of the springform pan. This does rise a little bit, and it rises in the oven, but then it actually settles down after that. So you just don't want any overspill. You want to make sure you leave a little bit of space for that. And we're going to go ahead and put this baby in the oven. And I have my oven at 325 degrees. And I'm going to place this on the top rack, right in the middle. And we're going to let that bake for 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to be checking it at 30 minutes. And you're going to tell, basically the way that you know it's finished is when you pull it out, it's not going to be too jiggly in the middle. You're going to see like a very consistent looking texture from the edges to the center. So as you can see, as I pull it out, the sides are cracked, but they're not brown, so that's a good sign. And also the fact that the middle is not jiggly. You'll be able to see like a lot of like jiggliness just in that part. So I would say that this is done. I'm going to take this off and just let it cool. We're going to let it cool for about 20 minutes. And then once it's completely cool, we're going to pop it in the fridge. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some whipping cream to add to the top of our cheesecake. And of course we want this low carb, so I'm just going to add a little bit, and we're just going to kind of do it more for decorative purposes. So I'm just adding a little bit. I would say this is approximately ½ cup. And you want your heavy whipping cream to be nice and cold. And go ahead and beat this on high. And the reason that I got the paddle attachment is because it actually like scrapes the bottom of the bowl better. It's time to get a new whisk. So this is why I don't recommend doing this, but I'll hold this up to make sure that it gets to the bottom of the bowl. The whisk attachment actually really whips it really well. So if you're gonna do heavy whipping cream, you want it to get really frothy, and the whisk attachment works really great for that. So I'm just gonna do this for about maybe 5-6 minutes, and it should be nice and fluffy. And we don't want to add our sugar-free or sugar alternative until afterwards, after it's really whipped up. If you do it before, it could kind of mess with the consistency of it. So you want to wait until it's nice and fluffy and already whipped. So now that we have our whipping cream to a nice whipped consistency, and we can actually pipe with it, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of the Splenda, the baking Splenda. So just to give it a hint of sweetness. You don't really have to do this, but I'm just going to have a tiny bit of sweetness. So I would say I'm adding about 1/8 of a cup. And you can actually measure it out, but I know how to kind of buy it at this point. So I added about 1/8 of a cup of the Splenda sweetener, and I'm just going to go ahead and incorporate that. And we don't need to continue to whip it. I mean, you just want to make sure that it's blended in. So I just mixed this on 4 to make sure that it's incorporated. And look at that beautiful fluffiness. It looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into a piping bag. Now I'm just going to fill my piping bag. And here I'm using a 1M tip. It's a Wilton 1M. And I'm going to go ahead and add my homemade whipped topping. We don't need a whole lot. I mean, we're just going to kind of dollop it on the top. So I fill that about halfway. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to get my cake. And now this has been chilling for about 4 hours. And it's nice and soft. And it's nice and firm. And I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that the side, I did spray the non-stick spray, but maybe I could have also, if you want to be extra about it, you can also add parchment paper. So now we're going to remove our springform pan. And that came out beautiful. Okay. So I'm just going to add some of this sugar-free Hershey's. I don't know if you want to call it syrup, but just to give it a little bit of decoration, a little extra. Not too much because I don't want it dripping all the way down, but just a tiny bit. I found this fabulous edible gold leaf for a pretty good price, and I will put the link below for that. I've actually researched these, and they were $100 a pack. This one was $6 something, so if you're interested in purchasing it, you might want to get it from where I did. And I'm just going to kind of brush a little bit just to give it a little bit of fanciness. How impressive is this? Who wouldn't want to eat gold? And you don't need a lot. You just need I'm going to say maybe we're going to use 2 sheets of this. And it has a lot in it, so. And so keep in mind this really sticks to your hand. You want to kind of keep it in its little packaging until you're ready to use it. But this is a really fun way to add some elegance to your cakes. So now I'm just adding some dollops on top, and so I started here and then I went straight across, and now I'm going to add one right in the middle because I want these to be nice and even. And I'm just going in a circular motion and kind of just stacking the whipped cream up on top. going in the center of these. Just nice little fun dollops of whipped cream. So lastly, I'm going to add, just as an extra little touch, I found these Endulge Chocolate covered almonds, and I'm going to go ahead and add them to each one of these little mounds of whipping cream. So if you're on the Atkins diet or like a low carb diet, what are the other diets? There's a low carb South Beach diet, or maybe you just really can't have sugar. This is a great dessert alternative. So now that we're finished, just look at how beautiful, decadent, rich, and delicious this low carb cheesecake is. As I said, it's not low calorie, but it is low carb. So if you're watching your carbs, this is a great alternative than just kind of cheating and having a regular slice of cheesecake. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.